We're enhancing and manipulating traits and aspects of ourselves that we already have. We're not just conjuring up things from thin air. So that's why it's so practical and so easy to use. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is FAERIE, and today we're going to be talking about using art as a form of alchemy, or specifically using self-portraits as a form of manifestation magic, or as a way to transmute energy, or using them as glamours. Now, if you're a little bit witchy, you might know what a glamour is, but you don't have to be super witchy or super spiritual or religious or whatever it is to use this type of manifestation tool. I pulled up a AI or Google definition of glamour magic. Glamour magic is a form of sorcery that involves changing how others perceive you. It's a subtle way to improve your self-confidence and appearance. You can use glamour magic to shift how people see you. It can help you appear more attractive and appealing. You can use glamour magic to change how people perceive you in certain situations, like a job interview. For example, a social media feed, an Instagram feed, that's a glamour. Because we know that social media doesn't completely capture a person, and we know that most people post their highlights, the absolute best moments of their life on social media. A social media feed is basically someone curating their image. They get control of everything. Like when you take a photo, when you have a photo shoot, you get to pick your outfit, you get to pick your setting, you get to pick the perfect angle that flatters you, you get to edit and crop the photo perfectly. And a feed is full of that. So that's a glamour. They're curating their image and how they want to be received and viewed. And it's a very powerful glamour, because we know, I feel like we've all had a moment where we've compared ourselves to someone on social media. We look at someone's social media and it sparks up a feeling of jealousy or like awe or whatever it is. For example, also, if any of you have seen the movie The Craft, there's this scene where one of the girls like runs her hands over her hair and it turns her hair from dark brown to blonde. Going back to like the social media feed being a glamour, that's a glamour that is like powerful on other people. It's a controlled alteration or controlled part of your image. I also like to think of glamours kind of as aura manipulation. So I'm not an expert also at auras or manifestation or anything. I'm just sharing what I've learned from my own experience. But I like to think of glamours also as, and this practice of self-portraiture, as aura manipulation. So basically, from what I've read, what I've learned about auras is that there's different layers. And we have an outermost layer that I think is easier for people to see, or that translates first to people. And then there's innermost layers under that of colors or whatever, energies. I think of glamours as manipulating that outermost layer of your aura. And I think of glamour work, or this self-portraiture work, as enhancing and manipulating traits and aspects of ourselves that we already have. We're not just conjuring up things from thin air. So that's why it's so practical and so easy to use. I feel like with a social media feed, like they're not, I mean, some people are, but people are not completely catfishing. Like, it's pictures of them, it is them, but they're just curating themselves, how they want to be presented, how they want to be received, what reaction they want to get from people when they are viewed, what traits, what attributes they want to be attached to their image. I have this little drawing I made. Ignore the little red marks. This is a print, and I accidentally got red on it. That's why I put her on my little altar. But this little drawing I made is called The Birth of FAERIE. And it's when I came up with my stage name, FAERIE. FAERIE represents like a persona to me who embodies a version of myself that isn't limited by insecurities or internalized traumas, and is able to pursue her dreams and her passions fearlessly and unapologetically and powerfully, and speak her truth powerfully, right? And so that's what this image is for me. Yeah, I don't know how else to really explain. I will let the image talk for herself. But yeah, it's really personalized, which I think is very powerful. And you can curate it however you want. I'll give tons of examples so you can get some ideas on what to do for your portrait if you want to do one. You can also use photo shoots as a form of a self-portrait. You don't have to, be super artistically inclined to do this. You can put on an outfit that makes you feel super gorgeous or whatever it is that you want to enhance about yourself, and pick your setting and just do a little photo shoot. I do that all the time, and I'll attach some photos. Most of them are attached to being very fairy-like. Oh, I forgot to say this, that these glamours, these practices, this manifestation, like a social media feed is a glamour that works on others, but these portraits are really things meant to work on yourself, meant to help you develop different core beliefs about yourself if your core beliefs are negative, meant to improve your perception of yourself, meant to improve your beliefs about yourself and your traits and your attributes, and help expand, like communicate to your subconscious a little bit to see yourself physically embodying the things that you want to embody. Will help translate to your subconscious. It will just help. If it helps if you see things visually. It will help you feel it. It will help you step into it. And working on yourself and your mind, I think, is much more powerful than working on, what other people are perceiving you as. So yes, that's using self-portraits as glamours. I'm trying to think about more. Now, I also use self-portraits as ways to transmute pain and negativity into something beautiful. And also to control kind of my narrative and to improve my self-concept. Sort of what I was mentioning before. Yeah, you can also incorporate, color theory or color magic. I'll give you some examples. Here is a monochromatic blue portrait I made. Oh Lord, I can't see anything. I can't tell if y'all can see this or not. Can y'all see it? Let me know if y'all can see it. Oh Lord. There we go. I think y'all can see that. I made a monochromatic self-portrait, and I used to do that a lot. I made a ton of monochromatic self-portraits. I might have another one over here that I'll show you. Here. This girl right here is arguably the most powerful. So as I said, I made these when I was just going through a really difficult time. It was like one of my first spiritual awakenings. I was just in a long period of sadness. And I was using these portraits to kind of channel that sadness because, for one, I didn't feel seen. So I was drawing myself to feel seen in a way to control my narrative because I was dealing with a lot of things that were out of my control and made me feel powerless. And those things were I was dealing with the pandemic, so I was dealing with a lot of isolation and disappointment because I was in my first year of college. I was dealing with a lot of depression. I was dealing with addiction. I had also been SA'd. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Content warning, sorry. So I was dealing with a lot of things that were making me feel powerless, and my circumstances were making me feel powerless. And so these portraits can help you regain power over yourself, how you want to be perceived, your story, your narrative, which is why I love them so much. So color magic, you can paint yourself whatever color you want. If you want to feel seductive, you can paint yourself a red or a pink. Yeah, anything. You can do anything with these. They're so fun. You can do it with lighting too in your photo shoots if you choose not to draw. Here's another example. I got a lot of examples. Yeah, I used to do so many self-portraits. I don't do them as much anymore because I feel, because they've worked, and I feel like I'm walking in all of them now, so I don't feel as much of the need to do that, but I'm sure I will return to them. I don't know if you can see this. Another self-portrait from that same period of time where I was just going through stuff, and yeah, it just helps me. It's kind of poetic, like turning your pain into something beautiful. It's just like when people write songs about breakups, and that song brings them a bunch of abundance and success, and you know, it's a form of release, and it's very poetic. It's like a lot of songs are beautiful. A lot of, you know, powerful things come from pain. I'll also attach a photo of some 2 pieces I made during this. No, one of them I made during the same time period. The second one I made during a different period of sadness. But I'll attach a picture of 2 pieces I made. One of them is super powerful, and it was kind of about my childhood. It has my childhood home above my head, and it has a tooth, and it has a pig. It has a coffee cup my mom always uses. It's very personal. It's called Overgrowth. My hair is super long in it, and it's about letting things get out of control, letting things grow, letting weeds grow, and just letting things get messy, because that represents a lot of my household and my upbringing. And also it's a metaphor, because like hair, not cutting your hair holds energy, and just having like split ends and all that, and needing a trim, and just holding on to stuff that, and letting things get bad, is what that represents, kind of. I hope that made sense. And so the home and the tooth, I made it at a time when, because of certain parts of my upbringing having to do with like poverty, and also a parent who wasn't fully present, was dealing with like her own addictions and mental health issues, not being present enough to really take care of me in the way she should have, and also from dealing with long periods of depression. I had a lot of dental issues, and I was having to do a lot of procedures, and I felt like I couldn't really tell anybody about it, because nobody my age was going through the same thing. It was a hard time, so I made a painting about it, and I ended up selling that painting with one other for $444. I gave her an offer. The person who bought it, it was around the time I did my thesis, so I had a show. I gave her an offer. I totally lowballed myself, and she upped it and offered me $444 for 2 very personal pieces that I made from deeply painful experiences. Like, that's a perfect example of alchemizing your pain and your trauma. But really, using these self-portraits to transmute energy into as glamours, is basically, the glamours are meant to trick your subconscious into believing something about yourself by seeing proof. So the self-portraits and the photo shoots, whatever you're looking at, is proof, and it kind of tricks, or your conscious mind, it just kind of helps put that belief in your brain. And then that belief may translate to others, because it becomes part of you, because you believe it. That's like what you're emitting. I like to think of these self-portraits a little bit as mirrors. Like, when we look in the mirror, that's like proof of what we look like. That's like physical, tangible evidence. Imagine a world without mirrors, where we didn't know what we look like. We go to the mirror to see how our outfits look, to view ourselves, right? And when you see it in the mirror, you know it's real. So if you see it in this portrait, it's like evidence. It's like, oh, that's me. And the transmuting energy is finding a way to channel your negative emotions, to turn it into something beautiful, to hold space for it, to acknowledge it, to work through it, to remove it from yourself, to channel it into something else, so it lifts a little bit of weight off of you. Because the first step in manifestation is getting your mind right. Anything negative you're working through, any limiting beliefs you have about yourself, this self-portrait practice or tool or tip can help you to dissolve them and work through them, and deprogram and reprogram something new, a new belief about yourself, a new narrative, a new perspective about yourself. I guess that's everything. This is a super quick video. A quick little video video about using art to manifest. If you're an artist, you absolutely should be using your practice to help you call in more abundance and healing and growth and whatever it is that you're craving. Let me rewind. Also, you could trace a image of yourself and fill it with words. Someone did this for me once and I think I saved it. I'll never forget it. I'll show a picture, but of words you want to embody. And I think that's a very cool and poetic way to step into attributes that you want and to view yourself differently. And I think it's most powerful when you do it. Now, if you are not artistically inclined, but you like a drawing of yourself, I can do it for you. You can check out my website offering monochromatic portraits that incorporate a little bit of color magic, a little bit of essence. I can add some of my fairy flair. I can give you wings. I can turn you into a fairy. I can turn you into a witch, a mermaid, a siren, a mythical creature. Add some of my personal style fairy flair like I did with my portrait, whatever. We can work together to give you a portrait that will make you feel beautiful, and that will help you enhance aspects of yourself that you want to pop out more. And yes, let me know. Yeah, okay, that's really everything about self-portraits. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it got some ideas churning in your brain. Yeah, if you're an artist who wants to use your practice to call in more abundance, this video is for you. And also, if you're not an artist, if you're just a person looking for ways to step into aspects of yourself that you feel you want to grow, this is also for you. Okay, for real this time. Bye.